Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to True Crime and Justice, the home of the missing and, right now, the mysterious. Because, yet again, we're looking at General Neil McCASLAND. Hi, Michelle. I'm good. How are you? How are you, sweetheart? Just been enjoying my time in my home because my housemate moved out when did she finally move her last of her stuff out? Well, she moved out on Friday. She stayed at my son's Friday night because she took a bed Friday. So I said, where's she going to sleep? Because she's took a bed sofa and she's took her bed. So I've got nowhere for her to sleep. And my son said, oh, she'll sleep at ours now. I went, oh, okay, fine. You go ahead. You know what I mean? Don't let me stop you. And is it tinfoil hat needed today? You know what? I've come to a conclusion. These people have either gone into hiding because there's some organisation or someone out to get them, or they've just lost the plot and they've gone off to unalive themselves. Because there's no spaceships out there that's been reported. So we'll see. I'll leave that up to you, Michelle, if you want to put your tinfoil hat on. You know what, Michelle? I was saying that earlier because my daughter's partner, I got a message off her, but I didn't see it until now. Saying that, why are you coming round to do your guttering, clean my gut, like the outside of the guttering? Because they were filthy. So he's done all that for me and all the edging underneath. And I swear to God, I've now got to rub all that paintwork down because it's literally peeling off. Right? But I went to him, thank you for doing my windows as well. I said, because last time I done my windows, all these fecking spiders come out the air vents on the outside. I just dropped my hose and went running the opposite way. The hose is doing like the snake impression around my front garden. And I'm running the other way because of all these spiders. But he done it today for me, which I was really thankful for. So, yeah, so I've just been enjoying my time in my home, right, and making plans to decorate now. And we're trying, well, Ryan, my daughter's partner Ryan, it's his father who manages these properties for the landlord. And he's trying to get me a new kitchen because I desperately need a new kitchen. That kitchen's been in there for 30 years. 30 years that kitchen's been in there. And a new gas boiler. He's going to get the plumber out to condemn it. So then I can get a new boiler. Otherwise, everything else was nothing really. And my daughter said, I went to my daughter the other day. I said, what was she doing the other week when you went in my bedroom? I said, you went to the bathroom and you come out and went in my bedroom. And I said, what are you doing in my bedroom? Right? I said, just being nosy. Right? So I pulled up again about the other day. I said, well, I was going to surprise you by doing your bedroom. But then I thought, oh, but would she like it if I'd done it? And I said, well, what was you thinking? It said, you know what my bedroom looks like? I went, yeah. Said, with the colour blue, like, it's a lovely colour blue. I went, yeah. Said, I was thinking of doing that in here. I went, go ahead, girl. That room is your domain. You do what you want in that room. Because I only sleep in it. You know what I mean? I don't live in that room. I only sleep in it. But I do like her design and her colour choices. So I'm happy with her doing my bedroom. And then she said, one Friday night, we're just going to buy all this white paint. And if it takes us a couple of Friday nights, 2 Fridays or whatever, we're just going to come up and we're going to blast this house. Paint all these walls that need painting white. I went, thank you. So very soon, when like on a Friday, their little boy goes to the granddad, which that lives next door to him, who is the guy who manages all these properties for the landlord. And he goes to the granddads and the grands on the Friday night. So a couple of Friday nights are gonna put out and come up here, and we're just gonna get on with painting this house because I've got my living room wall and it's a big wall to be painted. I've got my kitchen wall which is black. Fucking hate that. Bathroom and a toilet, both blue. That's going right. I've got a spare room which is all pink. Fucking pink. Even pink line. A runner going round the edge of the ceiling. And in my bedroom, I've got this, and it is a nice colour actually, this emerald green. But it's not me. Emerald green is not me. So that's got to be painted white. So I've got a lot of painting to be done. Then I've got all the woodwork to be done. And all the doors. Because when they was moving the sofa out the other day, what did they do? Oh, yeah. They scratched the paint off my door. Oh, well, don't worry, Mum. It can be really painted. I mean, don't fucking worry. I thought if that was their door, they'd be going mental. They'd be going flipping mental if I pushed the sofa out their room and scratched all their fucking doors. But, yeah, I think it's, possible witness protection too. Because it doesn't feel right. Even like tonight, we're going to listen to that phone call again from the wife. Right? She's too calm. I know she's 70 something. She's got to be in her 70s. If he's now retired as well, she's got to be in her 70s, late 60s, 70s. And she's too calm. Could it be her age? Because of her age, that she's calm? I don't know. Me, if it was my husband who just, I've come back from a doctor's and I hadn't seen him for the 3 hours and he'd left no message for me to say where he's going or what he was going to do or anything like that. And he's just gone, changed his clothes, left his phone, left his car. She's not sure about his smartwatch. She wasn't sure about that. But I think he left that. The only thing he took was his hiking boots, which he could have 2 pairs. Pair here at this home and a pair at his second home. Right? Hiking boots, which she weren't sure of that at first. So we're all thinking he's gone out barefoot. So it's hiking boots, his wallet, his backpack, and his gun. His pew pew. Where's he walking to? Why would he take his pew pew? Why would he take his wallet? Because his wallet would have ID in it. So if he didn't want to be found, he's obviously thinking, well, if they do find me, at least I'll know who I am. Because I'll have my wallet on me. It doesn't make sense to take your wallet, but then leave your phone there and turn your phone off as well, which obviously means she can't get into his phone because it's got a pin on it. So his phone was turned off, which she said he never does. So this is why we're looking into the General McCASLAND because I think this is the catalyst. He's the catalyst of it all. Right? He's the top one to go into hiding. And I think all these that have gone missing have gone into hiding. I really do. They've got out before they was took out. You know what I mean? And his wife saying he didn't have much he didn't do much about into the UFOs. Oh, get the fuck out of here, love. He was the gatekeeper to anything to do with the UFOs and all that lot. He was a fucking gatekeeper. Anything that came in went past his desk first. So don't try and tell us he didn't have much to do with the UFOs. Yeah, right. He only spent so many years at this one facility where they looked at UFOs. He only spent how many years? Can't remember now. And then when he was working alongside. Hold on, I've got to put my lamp on. Because when I'm on my live now, because I'm in my window space, I pull my blind down. So anyone walking past can't actually see me. They can see me in the daytime because my blind's up. I don't mind them. But on the night time when I'm on my live, I have my blind down. So anyway, I've got to hang up because I've missed her. So hello, Ang. How are you, babes? So yeah, I had to laugh to myself tonight. My son, I was thinking about my son's only went over for like half hour, 45 minutes. Just have a little chinwag with him, catch up with him. And even though he'd been at mine just literally half an hour earlier, right? And he went to his wife, to my daughter-in-law, said, "Did you unpack your mum's saucepans?" She said, "Oh, no, I forgot." I went, "Oh, Christ." I said, "Oh, for feck's sake, she can unpack fecking saucepans." She said, "Yeah, but we said we'd unpack them for her so that when she come in tonight from work, she could just do a dinner straight away." I felt like saying, "Are you going to cook a dinner for her as well then?" I'm 60, so she's 49 years old. She can unpack her own fecking saucepan. They've been over there since Friday. Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and today. Right, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and today. 5 days. 5 days. I say 4.5 because she didn't move in to get the kids till about 5:30 Friday evening. 4 and a bit days. I went, who was there to help me when I moved in? Right? My son said, "I couldn't really help you, Mum, because I had to go back up to Dundee." I said, "I know you did, but your wife didn't. She could have stayed." But no, I had my two grandkids there. I had to unpack all my boxes that I put in that spare room on the Friday and the Saturday, unpack them all, put all the stuff away so that when Angie come, they could put a bed in there or a wardrobe, whatever was going in there on the Saturday could go in there, right? And then a bed came, I think, on this Sunday. Yeah. I said, "But who helped me?" No one. I had two little ones here. No one fucking helped me unpack my saucepans. I thought, fuck's sake, I'm losing it here. I'm losing the will to live here. The more I hear about this move with Angie moving to the house, it's just. And then my son's going, "Well, you're expecting her to get all her clothes unpacked. She's had 4 days. 4 fucking days. If she can't get all her clothes in those two double wardrobes, not a single wardrobe, they're double wardrobes, and she's got two, fully mirrored from top to bottom. If she can't get all her clothes, her summer and winter clothes in there, then she needs to do some serious thinking and start sorting her stuff out. 4 days, I'd have had all my clothes unpacked on the Friday. On the Friday evening. Oh, but she was at ours for, oh, yeah, she could have gone, stayed there, unpacked all the but she didn't get none of her clothes till Monday. I said, but she could have done the rest Monday then. But no, what was she doing? Oh, what was she doing when I come round Monday? Oh, yeah, putting up a fucking play tent. That was her priority on Monday, putting up a play tent. While everyone else is lugging all her stuffing out the back of the cars and the vans and everything, she's putting fucking play tents up. So I said, and when Ellis said what he did to me, and I know he's only 8 years old and he doesn't understand that what he said hurt, right? I just walked away. I thought, nah, I'm not having this crap no more. Yeah, I agree, Michelle. We do, yes, that is so true. We need to we destroy what we don't understand out of fear. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, I agree totally. If we don't understand it, we'll destroy it. But there's got to be a logical way of thinking about this case with all these scientists that have gone missing. Yes, some have been found unalived. They just didn't get out quick enough. They just didn't get out. They didn't see the warning signs. But it's like with Monica Reza, right? I don't think hers is going into us into some sort of witness protection. I really don't, unless they met her at the top of that mountain and they took her down another way, and he's come back making out this story that, oh God, I looked around and she disappeared. Perhaps he's in on it as well. You know what I mean? Because it's either that he's in on this disappearance of Monica Rizza, or he done something with Monica to Monica, because he was looking for her for 25 minutes before he went back down the hill to tell that other woman what has happened. 25 minutes is a long time. 25 minutes, plenty of rocks and whatever to hide someone. So, unless he's in on that guy she was with, who went up that mountain with her, is in on this disappearance, the only way she could have got off that mountain without anyone seeing her is by getting to the top and then meeting up with someone and them taking her down a different way, which there are different ways to get down from that mountain. I don't know. I don't think it'll get that far. I think it'll blow over eventually. And that's what I think the FBI and all the other alphabet agencies are hoping that it'll just blow over. That's why no information is coming out about Monica Reza, about her phone data, because she did have a phone on her. There's no information come out about her phone data. There's no information come back about whether that red hat, beanie hat they found was hers. Now that was easy enough to do. DNA testing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that man with her knows a lot more than he's saying. As I said, he's either in on the disappearance. So the only way, as I said, you look at that map again. Go back on my stream last night where we had the map up. There's other ways down that mountain, right? And one way heads towards the Twin Peaks, where that couple heard a woman in anguish around 2:30 p.m. They could have took her down that way, or there's another route from that mountain which will take her down another way to that main highway, further along the highway than where they park, but to another car park, a place up along that highway they could park. That's the only thing I can think of, is they've either met someone at the top of that mountain and they've took her away that way into hiding, or he's done something because he had 25 minutes to make up a cover story of, say, looking for her. So these people might have worked high clearance jobs that may have caused their disappearance. Yeah, just cause of government, just cause of government, so-called secret for war, for tinfoil hat. Oh God, this. I'm just trying to look at it logically, right? There's one or two things that could have happened with Monica. She got to the top, then met someone who she's then left with down another way off that mountain. He's come back on his own, got down to the bottom to his friends, made up this cock and bull story about couldn't find her, she just disappeared. He could have thrown her red hat down there. He could have thrown her red hat. You know what I mean? She said, "Oh my God, we found a red hat. She must have gone this way." But she wouldn't go off trail. She's That's what I said last night. There's no way she'd go off trail. So it's either she was took off the mountain from the top by someone else and took another way off, and he's come back, made this cotton ball story up, or something happened on the way back between him and her. He's unalived her. He's then made up this cock and ball story again that she's gone missing. I think a little more logical answer is more what it is here. Yeah, it is strange he was the last one with her, yeah. And now I've got the trail maps of the mountains around by where McCASLAND lives. And you could actually walk there. You could actually walk there to these to the bottom of these mountains and go up these trails. You wouldn't need a car. Car would be quicker. A bike would be quicker, but you wouldn't need one. But I don't think we're going to look at those maps. But I don't even think that is it. I think he's walked out the house with just his backpack, his hiking boots, his wallet, which is strange. Why would you take your wallet and not your phone? What are you going to be buying? You know what I mean? And his gun. But his gun was in the holster as well. So he didn't just take the gun out of the safe and took it down his pocket, side of his jeans. No, he took the holster as well. And at 38, I'm going to just check some here. 38 revolver. Research only, this is. I just want to get a picture of the gun. Oh my God, that's quite an. Yeah, I'm going to share this with you. This is the gun he apparently took with him. And the reason I'm checking is because someone made a comment going, "Oh my God, are we going back to the 60s, 70s?" You know what I mean? So I thought, that's got to be an old gun, a 38 caliber. There it is. That bullet, I'm just looking at one. It's a revolver. Right. There is newer ones. That's quite an old one, that one is. That one is in production in 1898, this one. So, like I said, it isn't a gun, a pew pew most people would buy. They buy the one where they put the casing and it just fires. You don't have to keep filling it up with the pew pews. Yeah. It's like this one film I watch. Hold on, I'll try to see if I can find it. Oh, where is it? Oh, God, my bones are going to all fall this up and down. No, where is it? Got it in this pile. Enemy of the state. Right, it's a bit like that film, Enemy of the State, where Gene Hackman in it and Will Smith. And Gene Hackman went off grid. He just went off grid. He never used any bank cards. Everything was cash. He only dealt in cash. If he did any work for anyone, it was cash. He got paid, right? And he went off grid, and no one knew about him. He just fell off the grid. No one even bothered looking for him until Will Smith come across him. So yeah, they could have just gone off grid, but I think there's too many just disappearing to go off grid. And the fact that he was talking to some person who was doing some work on the house or around the property or whatever at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Then at 10 past 11, he was still there. He's got a window of 15 minutes because his wife left about 10 past 11. She come back about 5 past 11. So about 55 minutes window. Where's he going to get in 55 minutes walking? Yeah, maybe it took that because he thought where he was going there was possible animals and he was being going out. Plus, she did say he only took his a pew pew with him, if he was staying out overnight, doing an overnighter. He knew he wasn't coming back that night. That's why he took his gun. He knew he wasn't coming back at all. He knew he'd be out there on the night time. So that's a good point. Both of you. Maybe he's charge of technology and just went off the grid, and maybe took that with him in case of animal attack. Like that video I was watching yesterday, that guy kept going on about mountain lions. Which I'm sure if there's mountain lions on them mountains where Monica was, they would not have trails going up there. They wouldn't. They're putting people's lives in danger by saying, oh, you can go up that trail. You're okay. Just stick to the trail. You'll be fine. No, you'll get eaten by a mountain tiger or lion or whatever they call them. They're not going to do that, are they? So I don't think there's any lions up on there. But I do believe they've either gone into some sort of witness protection or perhaps they was contacted and said, look, if ever you feel unsafe, go here. And they've all gone to this one place. Because it's odd that they've all done the same thing. They've all took the backpacks. They've all took... What else did they take? They never took the phones or the watches. I think there's only one other guy who took a gun when he left, and that was, apart from McCASLAND, there's only one other person who took a gun. And everyone factory reset their phones. It doesn't say whether McCASLAND did. It just said she said he turned his phone off. But it doesn't say whether the factory reset it before turning it off. So, hang on, I've just got a, what we got here? Oh yeah, share this. Right, these are the mountains where round about, I'm not sure if it's side or that side. I was trying to figure out which side you lived on today. Find anywhere. Right, I could pinpoint to anything to say which side you lived on. But I do. He lives very close, and I'll pull up, close that window. I'll pull up Google because I was quite surprised by how close he lived to these mountains. Right? Especially now I know he's got a pair of hiking boots on. Where before we've been led to believe he just walked out the house with no shoes on. But these are all the trail maps there. White Ridge Trail System. Yeah, there's that. That's that. Then we've got them mountains. And then we've got your foothills there. But there's, and I thought, sure, I wonder if those, mountains where have got trail paths. And I just punched it, not knowing one or the other. And the trail paths. Right, hold on, I've just got to get to near McCASLAND house. And I'll share this with you. Put it over there. Right, so that's where he lives, right there. Right by the highway, not from a highway. Right, but when I zoom out, look how flipping close he is to mountains here. Like this foot here, right? So we know there's going to be parking spaces around here somewhere. If he was to come out of his house, yeah, he's only got a walk road to this corner here, along here, along this road, all the way along, right, all the way up here. Boom, is right at the base of these mountains. There's the mountains, these the bases. That's how flipping close he lives to the mountains. So I was quite shocked. I didn't realise he lived that close to the mountains. That distance that I've just pointed out to you there, right? For him to walk from his house, yeah, and along this road, and yeah, that's about the same distance as it is from here to my Asda. Probably just a little bit further, maybe. I wouldn't say. I know. I'd say it's about the same distance. Now, if I can walk that distance, I know he could. He's a fucking hiker. So he could hike up here. He could walk along there. Yeah. Boom, he's at the mountains. He'd know where the trail paths are. And like before, areas, right? There's a dock long picnic area. Now these are like where did it say before what these? This is trams. This is where the trams. But yeah, look, all these little paths, road and whatever, up through here, right? And then once you get to there, you've got these boys here walking around, and you've got. I don't know if you go into them. Hold on, I'm just going to have a look at. No, them maps that are showing go into just stay around here, sort of thing. The edge of these mountains, right? Like here. They don't go up in the mountains. Just having a look. No, they don't. No, they all stay around the bottom, the trails. That one. The 10K flowing. Right. Then you've got high desert, this green. But there's none in the mountain. Literally, hold on, I'll show you. They're literally, right, they're literally just round here. I'm not saying it's not hazardous to some of these trails. You know what I mean? Just these mountains. Oh, God. Have I? I don't know if I've gone too far. Yeah. But there's no trails up the mountain. No. Emergency leave. Ah, there's the mountains. So as I said, all the trails since the edge of the mountains, rather like up on the mountains. Right, now I did find again when I punched in trail. Oh, I don't know. I've just saved them. I don't think they're up in the mountains. I think they're around the edge. Right. Now I have found another video. I found several videos. And this one is by George Taylor. And today hike on the Pinot Trail. But we've got a peaceful Sandia Mountains hike. Breathtaking views in New Mexico. Or we got beautiful hike in Sandia Mountains, East Side Trails. Fall is coming. No. Right. I think we will be going. Oh. Let's go back. Look up at the page because I seem to have lost the video I wanted to play. Yeah. Go to this one because I have a look at this one at the beginning. Like last night, if there's any music comes on, I'll make sure the words are up. I'll just put it on silent, okay? Because everyone, like now, I get restricted. I could. Right, we'll start from here. I've got to share it, haven't I? Oh, yeah. Just check you're seeing this. Yeah, with witness protection, you leave your old life behind, everything, loved ones as well, to protect them, or just yourself. But why would he take his wallet then? Why would he take his wallet if he's going into witness protection? Why would he take his wallet full stop? If he's going off grid and you don't want to be found, if he had cash in there, just take the cash out of his wallet and pop it in your pocket, you know what I mean? Your wallet would ID you. I've got to take it off because of the music. We are just going to hike up to the crest, 4.5 or so miles. Easy peasy. So I'm going to put some music of my own on it too. Hopefully overlay their music. And these are the mountains by where he lives. does my head in when people put music on in the background. I can't play their videos without getting a stroke. You're giving your identity. Pass the book, but why take your wallet? Your thoughts are all welcome to all your thoughts in. Any opinions, any views. I'm just thinking logically. Yeah, that is a good, yeah. Give all his ID over to them so then he can't be, yeah. I think personally, he's gone down the road somewhere and he's been picked up, took out the area. I think he's gone into the protection. That's why everyone is being so hush hush. Same as Reza, Monica Reza. And the fact that his wife was so calm on that phone call, we're going to listen to. Yeah. I think the breakdown or after the call was just protection, yeah. See, these trails are well marked out. You know what I mean? You can see where the trails are on this one. Like I said, those who died, they didn't get them picking up. Perhaps I thought they wasn't of any high importance, that they wouldn't be going for those ones. And they did. I think as you noticed that there are no pictures of his wife. Has anyone seen any pictures of his wife? I know, it has to be something more logical, yeah. You're puffed out already, mate. You've only done a mile and 3/4. You think something more in? I think they've either gone into witness protection or they've gone hiding themselves. You know what I mean? Be right back, I'll just go and get me coffee. Yeah, they do look wild, doesn't it? In 1918. It's like I was saying last night. I think that guy who's the Monica Reza involved. That's just my, not even my, that's a good feeling. and when I get good feelings, I'm not normally drunk. And that's the crime basis of my thinking coming in as well. Yeah, we're going to listen to that phone call. See, these mountains are not like, as I said, you can't actually go to the top of these mountains, I don't think. There's no trail path going up there. You can go around it so far, and go so far up from around them. You can't get to the top. Still hazardous though, just to hurt yourself or even die. I like finding these videos and watching them because it shows you what the mountains are like. Wow. In this video, oh, I'll never gonna move that. In this video, the guy is waiting for his partner, the guy he went with. There's two of them went up this mountain, and he keeps waiting for him. Yeah? That's why I couldn't understand yesterday when we was talking about Monica, how he could be 30 feet in front of her, and not wait for her. That's what I find suspicious. The fact that he couldn't wait until she caught up with him, or got even closer to him. That's why I think she's either took off from that mountain, another route, and he's come back and made this cock and bull story up, or something happened on the way back from the top of that mountain. He's hit the body somewhere, and it's easily done. There's lots of crevices, lots of boulders, big boulders, you know what I mean? He had 25 minutes to do something, and then he's caught up with his friend, the other woman, further down the mountain, and made this cock and bull story up. Beautiful view. I knew. This is just one of the trail paths around those mountains where McCASLAND lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'd be no good on these trails because I'm no good on narrow paths. I'm really not. Plus I don't like heights. I used to live in the 14th floor of a tower block. Never once looked down to the ground. I used to use my phone on camera and hold my camera over the side and look at screen that way. Never looked out the window down. Looked out the window across to the mountains or whatever, the other side, but never down. I'd be too scared if in case I slipped and I went over the side, you know what I mean? Really not very good on narrow path. Especially when there's like rocks and whatever in the way. Oh my god. Wouldn't be able to film it either because I'd be too worried about. I couldn't concentrate on my phone. I'd be concentrating on where I'm walking. Right. I'm gonna stop that video there because it's just showing you the views really. But at least the trail paths are better marked out on this one than where Monica was going. You know what I mean? They might be narrow, but at least you can see the footpaths, the trails. But we're going to listen to that phone call. I heard that today about his wife being a scientist, but I tried looking up any information on his wife and what job she did before she retired. Nothing was coming up. Well, yes, it'd be expensive to live there, but B, a lot of scientists like to live, especially those involved with space and all that astrology and anything like that, love to live out in them places because there's no street lights where they live. So it's pitch black at night. They can see the stars better. That's why they live there. Me personally, I like to have a street light somewhere. You know what I mean? That's what I've got my little like. They're called firefly solar lights. They're like little round balls on long things, and you can knock them, and they move. They move with the wind and everything, so you can't really break them. They're not solid, and they throw a bit of light in my garden, but I want a lot more lights, solar powered lights in my garden. Mainly on the fence, around the one side and along the back, because where my back door is, when you walk up, when you look from my back door up into my garden, it is pitch black. Pitch black. You can't see nothing. But now I can see where my big pot is because of my firefly solar lights. And so I know there's a big pot there. And it just throws out a bit of light over the garden. The other firefly lights also throw some light out into the patio area. And I've got two firefly lights by my front door. I love them because they just move with the wind. Like I did buy one and the wind caught it, and because of the weight of the watering can and the wind catching it, it just broke it. Oh, thank you, Anne. I had a look today and I couldn't find nothing. Well, that's another reason. Can't be monitored. But they can be monitored because they've got internet. I heard that Manuro, I heard that she was something to do with either an astronaut and a scientist. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. Right? But then, oh, I've just got to take this off. Take this off. But then I was reading an article about how the wife was dismissing. Yeah, I'll try and find it again. The wife of General Neil. Right. Her name's Sue. What? Sue Wilkerson. Wilkerson. Hold on. Let's see what this throws up. Oh, missing Air Force General's wife told 911. Oh, I've got some. This can't be her. This has got to be a younger her. This has got to be a younger her. Surely. Biographies of astronaut and cosmonaut candidate Susan Wilkerson. Related searches Susan McCASLAND. McCASLAND Fieldhouse, Grant McCASLAND Coach. Yeah, this is yeah, I'll share it with you. But this is obviously a younger picture of her. There. That must have been before she got married, because that's must be a maiden name. Let's see. Of astronaut and yeah, there's his wife. That was when she was younger then. That was definitely when she was younger. Right. And cosmonaut candidate. So she was a candidate for the astronaut to be an astronaut. Interesting. Right. Yep. Well, I'm just trying to find the one. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. So yeah, we're right. Yeah, she's an astronaut or candidate for an astronaut and whatever. Not what you was expecting. Nor me. But we're gonna look at this because I was calling BS out on this. I really was. I really was. On certain parts of this, right? Right? It says here, Neil McCASLAND, who retired as commander of the Pakistan Air Force, was last seen at his Albuquerque home on February the 27th. Since then, Much has been made about his life choice, misinformation his wife pushed back on in a recent Facebook post. Pardon me. It is true that Neil had a brief association with the UFO community through Tom DeLonge. Now he's the lead singer to Blink 182. Former frontman for Blink 182 and founder of the organisation To the Stars, wrote Susan McCASLAND Wilkerson. Neil worked with Tom for a bit shortly after his Air Force retirement as an unpaid, his choice, consultant on military and technical scientific matters to lend verisimilitude to Tom's fiction and media. According to his biography on the Air Force website, while at the Ohio base, McCASLAND managed a $2.2 billion science and technology program as additional customer-funded research and development of $2.2 billion. Right? It served that role from 2011 until 2013, and as noted in an article published by whatever, the base has long been linked to UFOs. Thank you. And yet she's saying he had nothing to do with UFOs. Though at this point, we have absolutely no sign for him. No, he said further. However, in her Facebook post, McCASLAND's wife claimed that her husband does not have any special knowledge related to his time there. Where's my button? Where's my button? Bullshit alert. Right? Why is she trying to play that game? Why is she trying to play this down? Hold on. Why is she trying to play this game? Yeah, I'm in Mont Blanc at Huntsville. Yeah. Possibly. So, let's go on. And that he was to UFOs. We know he was the gatekeeper to anything to do with the fucking UFOs. Right? Hold on. So at this point, with absolute sign of him, maybe the hypothesis is that aliens him up to the mothership, she wrote. However, no sightings of a mothership hovering above Sandiak Mountains have been reported. She went on to stress that while her husband did have access to some highly classified programs and information, since he retired 13 years ago, it seems quite unlikely that he was taking in order to extract what now be very dated secrets. But you forget, after he retired, he did he worked, just mention it here. I won't talk about that. She went on to say that he did not receive a concerning Friday morning telephone call to a close relative. Never heard anything about phone call. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's all about the search. Officials said that the items unaccounted for in the McCASLAND residence include the missing man's hiking boots. Now, we was led to believe at the beginning that he had no shoes on. He's probably got a spare pair back at his other house. Wallet, .38 caliber with pew with a leather holster. So he took it in the leather holster, while his phone and prescription glasses were left behind at the home. Why take his wallet? You know what I mean? Additionally, the department said that a US Air Force sweatshirt was found. Mentioned this last night, didn't I? Was found just over a mile from his residence. But officials have not confirmed that it belonged to him. See, it's hush hush again. It wouldn't take long to get DNA off that sweatshirt. Yeah, blah 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 blah. You think I was. One woman, one comment here. She doesn't even know where he is. So how can she speculate about what may or may not have happened? If she supposedly knows so much, why not say where she thinks he might be? Something just isn't adding up. It also makes you wonder why the focus is on her making a statement that his disappearance, right, has nothing to do with UFOs. Why would that even be relevant when the real priority should be finding him? Exactly. The whole situation seems strange. Why worry about setting the record straight about aliens through his wife instead of focusing on the fact that he's been missing for over a week? This was a while ago. If he does have a medical condition, the chances of finding him alive could already be getting slimmer. Exactly. She's trying to play down the fact that he had nothing to do with the UFOs. We know he did. We know he did. I agree, another one said, replying to Moon. Her comment appears as made by a stranger rather than a space. And absolutely, the focus should be on finding him because he's missing and for no other reason. The spatial development is weird. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Right? You know what I mean? He served that role as whatever managing science and technology program, as well as an additional customer funded research development of 2.2 billion. He served that role from 2011 until 2013, 2 years back, right? As noted in an article published on the Ohio State University website, the base has long been linked to UFOs. Yeah? However, in a Facebook post, McCASLAND wife claimed that her husband does not have any special knowledge related to his time there. I think I need new batteries. It's got a flogging. So I don't understand where she's coming from with this. She's trying to downplay the fact that he had no special knowledge about UFOs. Yeah, well, okay, love. You sure it isn't you who's got some problems, not your husband? I'm sorry, but I've heard that phone call so many times now that I'm going to play. Hang on, just closing some windows down. Go back to my map. No, don't need that open. Don't need that open now because that was a BS article. I'm sorry, that was just absolutely BS. Right? I've got to go into my emails. Guess what time I was up this fucking morning? Chicken Tuesday. Just seen your email. Right. So this is it. Just wait for it to load up and then I'll share it. When it decides it's going to open up for me. Yeah, I was up about 7:30, 8:00 this morning. I'm thinking, oh, you're fucking joking. Since Angie's moved out, I've been going to bed. Well, I was going to bed about 12ish anyway, most nights. As I said, if I don't, I'll fall asleep on the sofa. So I'll try to fall asleep in my bed. This is Credit the Law and Crime Network. Right? So this, and I did play, I have played it before, but I didn't really go into it. And I want to go into it a bit more this time.
She says she knew what he was wearing when she left, but, and this is interesting, she ends up finding those clothes later in the closet. So he seemingly changed into something else, something she can't identify right now. So she calls 911 and right away, she says something that will just stop you cold. Again, this is new. We haven't heard it before. Take a listen.
This is April. How may I help you?
Hi, April. My name is Susan Wilkerson. My husband is missing.
Okay.
And it's been about 3 hours, and I have some indication that he must have planned not to be found. He's left his phone. He changed his clothes into I don't know what. I think he's on foot. All of our cars and bicycles are in the garage. I left for a doctor's appointment at about 11:10, and he was here at that time at the house. And I got back from that at noon, and he was gone. He turned it off and left it behind, which seems kind of deliberate because he always got his phone. He has a smartwatch. I don't know if that's with him or not.
Has he ever done this before?
Never. Nothing even remotely like it. He's a retired Air Force Major General. He's very responsible, but he's also facing some medical issues.
Do you have any video at your home?
No.
Has he been diagnosed with any mental disorders or anything like that?
Well, we've been seeing a doc for both physical and mental in terms of anxiety, short-term memory loss, lack of sleep. The same doc today.
Does he carry any?
Right? Short-term memory loss. Anxiety. It's like she's describing me here. You know what I mean? Who doesn't have memory loss? I've had it for fucking years. Fucking years. Since my kids were little. That's probably through lack of sleep then. Now I don't know what it is. Old age. Right? But I'm not going to throw my towel in and say, that's it. My memory's going. I'm going. I'm off. I've got my gun. I'm going to go. You'll never find me again. No way. Right? And I can't see William doing that either. Going off and unaliving himself. Right? And letting his wife worry about where could he be. Where is he? I don't think he'd do that to his wife. Unless there's problems in the marriage and you just thought, I can't take more of this marriage, I'm out of here.
Any weapon in him?
Well, not generally. He does have a gun, and I went to look in the gun safe to see if anything was missing, but I couldn't tell if anything was. He has quite enough pistols and rifles. Other than saying if his brain and body keep deteriorating, he didn't want to live like that. But it seemed to me that was just a, man, I hate how this is going kind of thing, because I told him, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Okay. We're going to send some deputies up to talk to you, see if we can search a little bit and see what's going on, okay?
Sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, ma'am.
So here's a question, okay? 911 dispatcher, woman calls, says her husband, this former Major General, walked out of the house hours ago, no phone, no glasses, apparently changed his clothes, and she says he planned not to have been found. I mean, honestly, what goes through your head about that? How do you even start the investigation? And by the way, how does wife know this, right? That's key, right? What about his routine, what about did she know about him says that this is a situation that he may have taken active steps to not be found? So to help answer all of this, to get reaction to this, to figure out where this investigation goes from here, we're bringing in somebody who has been doing work for decades. Chris McDonough is Director of Law Enforcement Relations.
We'll just stop it there a minute before he comes in on it, right? Because I like Chris McDonough. Ooh, Nero is getting very suspicious here, isn't she? Is there another woman or man? Did he or she increase their life insurance? Because I'm sure on a lot of life insurances, they won't pay out on suicides. They don't pay out on suicides. She guides a narrative with mellow tone and no emotion. It could be a generation, you know what I mean? Like if that had been my husband, I'd been going, oh, for fuck's sake, he's gone again. Oh, dear. You know what I mean? He'll be back. I'm not phoning the police to go and find him. There's no rush to bring him back. So, I'm not sure I'd be asking if the marriage was solid or was the... Yeah, I'd be asking, was the marriage solid? Fuck's sake. He's been at work and now I don't know how long he's been retired, 13 years? A long time to be stuck at home with your wife. Or even for the wife to be stuck at home with the husband. I don't know who I feel sorry for most, the husband or the wife. I feel sorry for the wife. You gotta take the woman's side. You gotta take the woman's side. So, but she's very calm. But I think that is just because of her age. Like, she's probably brought up in an era where you don't show emotion and you don't get upset and all that lot. There would be a hefty pension with his job, yes. There'd be a hefty pension with her job. Damn it. So, yeah, they've got some good money coming in that house. And in their bank accounts. But you've not heard her singing yet, Angela? No, I haven't. Why? Does she sing as well? Please tell me she don't sing. Oh, fuck. She's going to take to the stage now, isn't she? Because she hasn't got a husband with her. Oh, yeah, I can imagine life insurance being on both sides. Both sides. It's like, I'm paying for my funeral already. That's in the bag, paid. Well, it isn't paid for fully, but after the first, I think, 2 years or first year, I'm covered. And I've been paying it now for 3 years, so I'm covered. So if I was to pop my clogs tomorrow, the funeral's covered. Right? And my son said, what about any insurance, Mummy, Mum? Why would I get an insurance policy out for you? Why would I pay money into an insurance policy for you to just squander it? I said, if I took any insurance policy out, it wouldn't be for you or Dee, it'd be for the grandkids. Really? Oh, that's weird. But the fact that she's came out to set things straight, rumours straight, misinformation straight, by saying he had nothing to do with anything to do with UFOs. Yeah, right. So why would he team up with what's his name? Tom DeLong. Why would he team up with him if he had no knowledge on UFOs? Oh, I'm also following him. His X account is still open. McCASLAND's X account is still open. So we'll see what happens with his X account. I bet it gets shut down now. So let's just continue listening to this bit because I like
And an investigative with the cold case. Chris, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate the invitation, bud.
Will you tell me what stands out to you the most about that call?
Well, right away, I mean, the first red flag with inside that phone call is just that comment. You know, he must have a plan or something to that effect. And, you know, that's kind of one of these anomalies, right? What we would call DLR. Does it look right or doesn't?
My feeling about him taking his gun. She stated herself that he only took a GUN, a pew pew, bang bang, whatever, with him if he was on an overnight, if he's staying overnight, camping out overnight while on a hike, because of the animals around, yeah? He knew he was not coming back that night. That's why he took his pew pew, bang bang, whatever you want to call it, that is legal on YouTube, right, with him. Because he knew he was not coming back that night. Not because he was going to take his own life, but he knew he was going to be out somewhere where he needed his pew pew overnight. She said it herself, he only takes it when he's on an overnight.
Sound right. And not that it couldn't be. It's that would be like that off point when the first officer gets on the scene.
Who is Tom DeLong? Tom DeLong, DeLonge, is a musician, right? Hold on, I'll pull it up. Tom DeLong. American rock musician, right? He was a lead singer, guitarist, lead vocalist and guitarist of Blink 182 and as founder of Angels and Airwaves, right? He is 50 years old. Oh, he's still a baby, right? Let me find out the connection he has with McCASLAND. Blah, blah, DeLong and his baker. No. No, music career, no. It was with Blink 182. right? Boxcar Racer is blinking departure, right? Blah, 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 blah. Right, oh, just says somewhere. I know he's an author, a writer. He did books for children as well. Equipment, guitars, amps and pedals, inspirations, influence, business. The technology and design from The technology and design from Maglife, which I don't know what that is, was founded by Tom DeLonge in 2007. Tom DeLonge explained in 2014 that he was pondering a plan B, whereby musical acts could monetize other aspects of their creative portfolio, posters, books, VIP tickets, whatever. Right. He approached filmmaking when he was directed the music video for the song The Photograph. What does it say about his connection? On January 28th, 2019, To the Stars released an animated narrative by DeLonge of his children's book, Who Here Knows Who Took My Clothes? Right, that's what it says. Allah. DeLonge has been a believer in aliens, UFOs, and conspiracy theories since his youth, well before founding Blink 182. Band member Travis Barker said in a 2019 interview with Joe Rogan that DeLonge is incredibly passionate about them and would look for UFOs outside the tour bus window and even create search parties to find Bigfoot. In 2014, Tom shared an article on Twitter which purported that the Smithsonian Institution had admitted to destroying thousands of skeletons belonging to giant humans in the early 1900s. Right? He merged into the larger To the Stars Academy and Arts and Science. Right? Blah, blah, blah. In 2019, his company produced a History Channel television show, Unidentified in America's UFO Investigation. In April 2020, the Pentagon officially declassified these videos, which had been previously leaked by people claiming they showed UFOs. DeLonge had previously released videos through his company in 2017. But I know he did work with McCASLAND, but I can't find it on here. But it's a big thing of the aliens and UFOs and all that lot. So that's who Tom is. Tom DeLonge is an artist. Hi there, Neuro. Sounds like you never caught. Yeah. So yeah, it sounds like I never caught, but it isn't. He's a writer. He does books for children and things like that. I was a bit thrown back by it when I heard about that. I thought, musician, McCASLAND. He's rock, punk and rock, you know what I mean? What the feck?
Look into this.
The idea that not, she didn't say, "Can him, someone must have done something to him." There was this acknowledgement that based on the man she knows, and in particular about the clothing and the items left behind, that he did this, that he didn't want to be found. You compare it to the Nancy Guthrie case, which is obviously different, but there wasn't an indication, well, maybe initially, that we weren't
Don't play it with me.
entirely sure what happened, but it was pretty clear this wasn't a wandering off situation, and yes, she's much older than McCASLAND, but the idea that he must have planned not to be found is very, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because who's introducing that plan? Right? We hear it very first on the 911 call. He planned to be found. Well, all right, when the first deputy gets on the scene and they start, they have a couple of priorities. The first priority is to see if there's any suspicious activity in relationship to how the environment looks. Okay, then the second activity there that's going on simultaneously is you're interviewing witnesses, and in this case, the family, the wife, and you want to lock them into a statement so that, later on when the investigators get on scene, and if it didn't sound right or it doesn't look right, like we were talking a moment ago, then, you tell that to your first responding investigators. And the third piece of that puzzle is you got to start looking through the house, and you have to start looking through the anomalies that she may have been talking about on the phone, i.e. she has a lot of guns. He's been going through a lot of mental stuff. We went to the same doctor, etc. And you want to start looking for evidence that will correlate to the truthfulness of potentially that statement. And so in this case, it is critical and would have been critical right from the very moment that first deputy got on scene to potentially start telling the story.
I think the clothes were a big indication, right? The idea that the clothes was wearing. So does it become almost impossible to know what he was wearing then? I mean, how do you know the whole wardrobe collection of a human being, even if you're married to them? And also, unless they purchased clothes beforehand that they hadn't worn before, that seems like a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah, right. And this is why you don't go into these investigations asking the word how, but always asking the word why. Why would he have left, the items behind, like his cell phone, his prescription glasses, all the wearables, right? The things that you're going to need out there in the world. And so you have to start breaking that down. And then you have to start plugging those, gaps of really gumshoe investigative techniques. I mean, the strongest tool for any surgeon is a scalpel. But for an investigator, it's the question. So the very first type of questions that are put out to the witnesses / even the wife and the family, those are going to tell you the wounds potentially inside this investigation. And you're going to be able to figure out, okay, how do I need to stitch these wounds up? Where investigators get screwed up is they write the prescription without doing the diagnosis. And so sometimes, if somebody was, if there's foul play here, well, the suspect has the advantage in that situation. And, some of the red flags that even like you're talking about there jump right out. He missing hiking boots, a gun, etc. But where's all of this coming from? It's coming from the inside of his home, i.e. through the witnesses that last saw him. And so you want to make sure that you're cutting through that pretty quickly with the right type of questioning and interviewing techniques.
And I wonder if there's a complication that this is not just John Smith who disappears, but this is somebody who has training. This is somebody who's an outdoorsman. And you wonder if this is the case where they don't want to be found. Is it likely they won't be found?
Well, that's always a possibility, right? I mean, with his military training, the question is, if he's wandering away from his house, you have to now do what they call a geographical profile and say, okay, how far would this guy get? He's 68 years old, may have some upcoming health issues, but he's also healthy. Based on what his wife is saying, he doesn't have any dementia issues per se. So immediately you'd want to talk to his doctors. You'd want to talk to the last people that saw him and try to tighten up that timeline. And then simultaneously, if he doesn't want to be found, then you want to start looking for a digital footprint in today's environment.
I just want to go back to the mental health aspect of it, right? I think that's really a concerning, chilling part of it, the lack of sleep, short-term memory loss, anxiety. If my brain and body keeps deteriorating, a question of whether or not he wants to live like that. One of the challenges is if we are dealing with a situation, something to themselves, how on earth able that with all of these agencies looking for him, that he still can't be found? That's why there are others who believe, was he apprehended? Was he taken? Or again, you go back to the idea you said, how can someone just disappear? But that's the part that's challenging, right? Even if he did something else, where's their body?
There is no body because he's gone off grid. These people that have gone missing, right? Unless they are found unalived, then I will stick to my guns and say they've either been gone off grid themselves, or with the help of one of the alphabet organisations. Yeah, talk to the close circle of friends. See what the dynamics between the two were like. Because I swear to God, my husband used to say, can't wait for when I retire. Right, and this was right when he was like in his, I'd say, he was 50 something when he died, passed away. So I've got to say in his 40s, and I go, oh, you're a long way off from that, sweetheart, don't worry. Oh, but we'll be able to do so much more then, babes. I mean, I'll be too old, too decrepit, and too fucking tired to be doing anything when that time comes. I'll just want my slippers and my TV and leave me alone. You know what I mean? Right, let me put about in my garden. Just leave me alone. You want to go off and do adventures? You go off and do them, sweetheart, because I'm not coming with you. And I used to sit there and I'd be thinking, fuck, when he retires, I'm stuck with him at home. I couldn't wait for him to go to work. I really couldn't, because then he'd go to work, right? He'd go to work, my kids would be at school, I'd come home, clean my house up, get my washing done, get the bedrooms tidied up, right? Do all my housework, go out and potter in the garden for a little bit, go and pick my kids up from school, cook the dinner, get them bathed, up to bed. And it was like, thank God. Now I can chill out again. You know what I mean? From about 8 p.m. onwards, I could chill out, unless I had to stand there ironing, doing his work shirts or their uniforms or stuff like that. Did they get along? It's a good question, because I don't know any couple that who could be at home all day long with each other. When you're used to your partner, your other half, going to work every day, you get into that routine. They've got their routine, you've got your routine, be it whether you go to work or not, right? But then the time comes when you're both at home. And it was like, can someone just tell him to be quiet? Or if he was off ill, he'd be on the sofa go, I'm dying. Well, I'll tell you what, sweetheart, You go up them stairs and get comfy in bed, and I'll bring you a nice hot drink up, and you can fecking die up there. You know what I mean? Because I hated it when he was at home. I hated it. I used to love our holidays when we went on holidays with the kids, or if we went out for a day out somewhere. Great. But when we was at home, no. I would find anything to do. I'd go out, visit friends, anything. If it meant not being stuck at home with him all day. Really. I hated it when he was at home. The next question is, okay, how did they spend off time with what hobbies? Well, I can guess his hobbies was like going out, walking, hiking, and things like that. It wouldn't surprise me if he was a stargazer. But what did she do in her time? And as I said, it was only 55 minutes between her leaving and her coming home again that he left. And in that time, he's gone and changed, turned his phone off. We don't know if his phone was reset. They've not ever said anything about his phone being factory reset like the others. We know his phone was turned off. We know he left his glasses. We don't know. I think he left his watch as well, right? But he took his wallet, which to me does not make sense. What you going to spend? Where you spending your money? Right? He took his wallet, his backpack, his wallet, his hiking boots, which he had on, because we was led to believe he had no shoes on. And I'm going, there's no way he would be able to walk out of that house along those gravelly roads with no shoes on. A, the ground is too hot. And B, the scorpions about. Yeah, did they both go on bike rides? Did they go on bike rides together, or was just him who went on bike rides? Yeah, you're coming up with some good questions here. Did they gamble? Did they like the odd little flutter somewhere? We don't know, and we'll never know, because she's covering. I think she knows the truth. She slipped up by saying, I don't think he wants to be found. She slipped up by saying that. He's, as I said, is from the forces. He's very intelligent. He's a hiker. He knows his way around trails and mountains and all that lot. So maybe, maybe he didn't want his wife to have his wallet. That's a typical man's reaction. I'm taking my wallet. I'm not leaving that behind. There's no reports of money issues, no, and they had another home 200 miles away, yeah. So if they had money issues, they could sell one of the houses. The clothes she said he had on were at that home 200 miles away. She says he changed his clothes though. How can she say that the clothes were 100 miles away, but then she says he changed them? How did he change those clothes if they was at their other house? Right? I used to say to my husband, your money is, no, your money is, my money is, no, what is it? Your money is your money, my money, no, my money is mine, your money is mine. He never had control of his bank. I had his fucking bank card. I had his bank card. Not all the time, though. Just 99% of the time I had his bank card. Because our wages, everything we had, my wages were going to his bank. We had a joint account. So I just used to keep his bank card. If he needed money, I'd give him his bank card. Go on then. But make sure I know I know how much you're taking out, sweetheart. Exactly. So I think she's the one with the bit of a memory problem. I think she's getting confused with what he was wearing. Right? And what clothes he are at that house and what clothes are at the other house. If you've got two houses, how would you know what he was wearing? Because he's got to have a lot of clothes if he's got another house somewhere with clothes in that house. Well, my husband, well, you know the lottery cards, them lottery cards you buy. I was going to my mum's one day and we popped into this shop on the way to my mum's. And we was going by bus. We could have gone by car. And I said, no, we'll go on the bus. It'll be a nice little walk up to the bus stop. And I'll walk along the road, bring back some memories for me. And I can show my kids, right, where I used to hang out and all that. And when we get off the bus and we go to the shop and he pulls out all these lottery cards, checking them to see if he got any winning. I went, how many have you been buying? Oh, they're not mine. Whose are they then? They're my mum's. So your mum's been spending something like 10 quid and more on lottery cards. Yeah, yeah. I went, BS. BS. And that was when I took the cards off him. I went, no, well, you. Yeah, you want to buy some lottery cards? I'll go up on the weekend, and when we get the lottery tickets, I'll buy some lottery cards as well. But you're not. He was buying them daily, right? And I used to do him packed lunches because he used to like to take a packed lunch to work, but then that stopped. And I went, why aren't you having no packed lunches no more? I've done you a packed lunch today, and you haven't took your packed lunch for the past week. I've been getting some at work to eat. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're spending like £8 a day on food, right? And that was a lot of money then. When you're going back, £8 a day now is a lot of money. But when you're going back to when he was working, when he was like in his like 30, when his 30s and whatever, he's 30 something when we had the kids. So for £8 is a lot of money a day. So yeah, I definitely took his bank card off him. He was grounded. His bank card was grounded, right in my back pocket. You think it was a hit, maybe? Because I'll tell you why there's very little information put out there. Because we've got no information on his phone records, right? No data on his phone records. Did anyone try phoning him? She even dismissed that Friday morning call about a relative. He did not get a Friday morning call. I've never heard anything about a Friday morning call, right? Yeah, she rang about 11 and returned at 12:04. So that's about 55 minutes for him to get out the house, get changed, put his shoes on. Now, bearing in mind he was in his 70s, he's got to be in his 70s. He's not going to move that quickly. Christ, I can't bend over no more. I have to literally tie my laces up on my trainers so that I can just slip my feet into them. So that I don't have to bend to fucking do my laces up because it hurts. Exactly. There's something mentioned in that article I was reading about she dismissed about him getting a Friday morning phone call concerning relatives. I thought, what fucking phone call? I've heard nothing about a fucking phone call. But he'd been talking to some guy who's doing some work around the home. You got sketches? I've got to get some. But I'll tell you some of the trainers I've got. I have got a pair. What are the brands? I can't think what the brand is. Good brand. I can't think what the brand is. Ah, but I only wear them during the summer. Right? Because during the winter I've got my big hobnail boots on, you know what I mean? It says, don't piss me off boots, because they're going right where it hurts otherwise. Right? So during the summer I wear my trainers a lot more. But I just set my laces to, so that my shoes aren't like loose, but I can just slip my feet in them. But I've got a pair which are really comfy. I don't know where they've been in my wardrobe. I'll have to get them out. I'll have to get them out of my wardrobe. But I'll keep all my shoes in my wardrobe, all of them. My trainers, my shoes, everything out the way. It's like, my son said, get a shoe rack, Mum. No. Because that's something else that I've got to stare at. No. They go in the bottom of my wardrobe. They're fine there. I know where they are. Exactly, because I'm not releasing nothing about the house phone. Did they have a house phone? They're not releasing nothing on his data about his mobile phone. They've not released any data, any info on that sweatshirt. Was it his sweatshirt or not? That was found about a mile away from his house. They know the truth, and they're not saying. They're just putting this act on, going through, what's the word I'm looking for? Just doing the routine of making out you're doing a search and you're contacting all these people, but you're not asking the right questions. But you're asking questions, but not the right ones. And just to be made to be, look, like, we're looking, we're doing our job, we are doing it. You know what I mean? But really, they're not, because they know where he is. Didn't Monica have a call too? I don't know. Because they've not released any data on her phone either. They don't get along. Oh, I didn't get along with my husband. It was a love-hate relationship we had. I love to hate him. Right. Oh, if I was going to go on my husband, I'd go, you know what? There's my case. Bye. I'm gone. You know what I mean? I'd just go. I wouldn't wait until he was at work or he'd gone over to his mum's. I'd be fucking gone in front of him. And can you really see her putting up, oh, don't go, sweetheart. I love you, sweetheart. Please don't go. No. She's from that era where it's like, oh, you're leaving me. Oh, okay. Bye then. You know what I mean? The era where she was brought up to have no emotion. She was a logical thinker, I'd say. If she was a scientist and all that, like an astronaut, she had to be some sort of logical thinker. quick thinking on her feet, Shakespeare. I imagine he would write a note, hence he either had enough witness protection a hit. I don't think it was a hit. I think he's either gone off grid, right? Or because they're scared for his own life, not just for his life, but for his wife. Or one of these alphabet organisations has took him. No, they're now saying he had his hiking boots, a pair of hiking boots.
This is a really interesting case where I used to county. We had a case in Rancho Santa Fe. It was called. His name was Ian Spiro. I don't know if you've ever heard of that name, but he lived in a very wealthy neighborhood. His family, 4 members of his family and his wife, were found deceased in his house. And then he was later found, in, I believe it was the Borrego Desert, in his vehicle, and he had drank some cyanide. And everybody didn't know who he was at the time. But, just fast forward here, and the correlations is he ended up being some high-level government operative where he was a gun dealer, et cetera, et cetera. And to this day, that case still has not been solved. And this has the smell of something like that, where, you have this high-level government guy who just, decides, hey, I'm just going to walk away from my house. They piece of clothing, a couple of miles away. But to your point, he's just evaporated. Now, people can do that, but there's also, to your point, all these other conspiracies he's coming up here. And you have to ask yourself, okay, well, what's going on in that house first? And you don't leave that environment because in this case, he's a very low risk victim, meaning his environment, he's at his house, his situation, his house, his circumstance, it's early in the morning. It puts him way down on the low risk thing. So there's a higher probability that he was either targeted by somebody he knew or somebody that had access to his environment.
And that window, the sheriff's office releases the timeline, repairman at 10 a.m., wife leaves 11:10, she's back 12:04. It's such a narrow window, and you wonder how investigators, work a timeline like that. And this, by the way, has been pretty open about.
I'll tell you something else why I don't believe he's gone hiking. What was it they said about Monica? They go hiking early in the morning, right? So they could get off the mountain by midday when the sun is at its highest and at its hottest. Yeah? He's not going to go hiking like at 10:30, 11, start thinking, I'll just go for a little hike. He's not going to do that. It's too hot. If he's going to go hiking, he's going to go earlier in the morning so he can be back home by midday. You know what I mean? You get to, you get to know the best times to go hiking. And that is not midday.
About how unusual all this is. Here's how they put it.
Wearable devices and taking his phone were common practice with him. That is out of the norm. We said from the get-go, this was an abnormal behavior by his part, and thus we are looking at every possible aspect of it and willing to unturned stone that we can in order to help identify where Mr. McCASLAND is.
And apparently they searched hard: drones, helicopters, canine unit, cadaver dogs. Grid searched the canyon where his wearable devices showed he hiked. And here's the thing. They later found the green shirt and the hiking boots that they thought he left in. This was at the family's second home in Pagosa Springs, Colorado, so they don't actually know what he was wearing. And by the way, the sheriff's office addressed that too.
We've received a lot of tips about items that have been located. We check every one of them. We check with family and friends to see if that were known to be utilized by him or owned by him, and we'll continue to do that. So that's the update on these items that you are seeing being brought forward. We're not saying he left in them. They are just unaccounted for.
So, Chris, you're hearing the response from law enforcement. It's been a while now. Where do you think they are at the investigation?
Well, hopefully they're at a situation where they're starting to look at that digital footprint if it exists. If, in fact, those items are connected to this particular disappearance and they're found at a different location, that means you potentially have two crime scenes here. And so now you have to from point A to point B. And then from there, you have to work it backwards. Did he have a plan? I mean, let's say this was an intentional walkaway. What was part of that plan? Well, if it's a rental car or if it's some type of vehicle that would be utilized to get to that second location, then that information is going to be available to law enforcement. They're eventually going to find that. But if there's, let's say, another situation where he runs into somebody, who has, bad intent, for lack of a better term. I've had a kidnapping case where a mother left a pot of potatoes on the store and she went to the local grocery store and she vanished. And we found her 4 months later. She was buried. And we also discovered that the suspects that she ran into were at the grocery store, and it was a kidnapping for robbery. And so if this is a situation where, let's say, he goes out and then he runs into somebody, that's a possibility that could have taken him to a secondary location and said, okay, we're going to go from here.
Yeah, or he wanted to meet with somebody. We just don't know because, again, it's such a narrow window when he left, when he went missing. I mean, goes missing right after the wife leaves. Those items are left. It's difficult to know one way or another. And then there's the gun, by the way. So this .38 caliber revolver, the leather holster, is still missing. Sheriff's office was asked if he normally carried it. Take a look.
He wouldn't commonly hike with a weapon on him. That would be relegated for maybe overnight camping trips and things of that sort. And then it was for personal protection. So what are we looking for with that? Well, if say General McCASLAND had recently gone to a pawn shop and sold that off, and we just weren't aware of that, or his wife wasn't aware of that, we'd want to know that. And so that would be something that would be of interest. If someone is hiking in the mountains and finds a spent .38 special casing, that would be unique, that we would want to be able to take and process. So that's why we're putting that information out.
Yeah, Chris, real quick. I mean, that's a really smart police work to try to figure out how the gun could be connected, but I haven't heard any updates about it. So I wonder if that's a dead end now.
It could be, Jesse. It actually could. And the anomaly there is he took it with a holster. If you're going to, typically with somebody who's going to do self-harm, for lack of a better term, why do you need the holster? Okay? I mean, I've seen so many death scenes that if somebody's going to take care of business, i.e. they're going to hurt themselves, they're just going to tuck that weapon right in, potentially into their pants or carry it or whatever.
I would challenge and say maybe again, if we're talking about him taking it, custom. I mean, it was it's process. He always kept it in the holster. And maybe, I don't know what distance he might have traveled. It would have been whatever alleged plan he had or whatever he wanted to do. It would have been more secure to have it in the holster before he decided to use it, or if he needed to use it.
Right. And I wouldn't disagree with that at all. But at the same time, he's going to go to a location where they're going to find his body. And they haven't discovered that at this point. So it's almost like the items are mentioned to this confusion. And I guess where I'm going there in that thought, there's too many little details that do not make the boots, the wallet, all the stuff that he left behind. but he takes his gun, and it's like, well, wait a minute, that's not lining up.
There's another layer to the story that a lot of people just can't stop talking about. I want to get your take on it because McCASLAND apparently isn't the only person in his orbit who's disappeared or died under strange circumstances. There is Melissa Cassius, worked as an administrative assistant at Los Alamos National Laboratory. This is the same lab that developed the atomic bomb. She vanished in June of 2025, walked away from her car, left her phone, wallet, keys behind. Last seen on camera, walking alone on a highway, gone. There's Monica Reza, a NASA rocket scientist, disappeared while hiking with friends in California just 4 days before Cassius vanished. She worked on a project funded by the Air Force Research Laboratory, the same lab that McCASLAND used to oversee. And then there's Carl Grillmeyer, renowned astrophysicist, shot dead at his home in California in February, right around the time that McCASLAND went missing.
Yeah, it's conflicting stories, isn't it, Nuvo? You know what I mean? I heard as well that he'd left the home with no shoes. And now I'm hearing that he had, but they did say in that police one where that sheriff was talking, these items they can't be accounted for, which are his hiking boots, his bag, his wallet, and the pew-pew, right? They're not saying he had them with him, right? They're not saying that's what he left the house with. They're just saying they are not accounted for. So where else are they likely to be? If they're not at the house, where are they likely to be? He went out to make it look like he was going for a hike. Sounds like government has scrappy retirement packages. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of them I don't mention. There's so many that have just gone missing or have gone pew-pewed. And I think, did they not get to him, to these people soon enough? Perhaps a certain alphabet organisation had intel on something and got Monica out, and not every young girl, not every young woman out first. Then they thought, but by the time they could think of anyone else, a lot of them have been pew-pewed. You got money on Dogman, got them. Oh, God. But it's weird. There's no information coming out at all, which could be they're not putting information out because they don't want to let people on. Perhaps they don't want to put the information out about any phone data they've got on him. About a phone call maybe he received, well, just after his wife left or anything like that. Because by doing that, by saying, well, we've got phone data which shows he had a phone call at this time, it's saying, it'll get people going, oh, so he had a phone call. And then the people who've got him are going, oh, shit. They know you had a phone call. They can trace that phone call. Right? So perhaps they don't want to put that information out for that reason. Or they know where he is and just don't want to say. And I'm hoping that this job, and just doing an investigation like, look, we're doing it. We're doing our checks. We're going knocking on doors. We're doing all that. And, but really, they know where it is. E.T. call home. Please. Get this. Get the salt and the sage. I'm tempted to buy a bush of that sage where you burn it, right? And then just go around your home with it. Because I'm sitting here now talking on this mic, looking at a photo of my late husband, the father of my kids, and I'm sure he's haunting me. Call the Winchester. God, out. So it doesn't make sense. The phone call, she was too calm. But then again, it had only been 3 hours, love. It may have been down the local pub. He had, I think, if anything, he walked out the house with his backpack and his hiking boots, right? But he didn't have his glasses. You know, the prescription glasses. And the glasses, you see him wear these glasses all the time. So why wouldn't he take his glasses with him? Right? And I agree with Chris McDonough. If he was going to do something drastic with that pew, he wouldn't have just took the holster. He just tucked it in his bag, put it in his bag, or tucked it down his trouser, inside of his trouser, whatever, and gone. But he took that gun because he knew he wouldn't be in over the night, at the night. He knew he was going to be outside somewhere. He knew he had to be prepared. He knew he was going to be outside. Did you have another pair of hiking boots? Well, he could have had. We don't know how many pairs of hiking boots he had. And she said she didn't even tell which gun was missing because he had so many. Why would someone like him need so many guns? Why? Why would he need so many pew-pews? It doesn't... None of it. Glasses. Yeah, why not take his glasses? Why? Supernatural is awesome show. I used to watch a lot of those shows. So, oh, Bobby's got up. What you got for? To tell you what, I catch tonight. I was having a bath earlier. Thought I'd go and have a nice soak again in the bath before I go live. Well, I had it before my dinner. Bobby's sitting in the bathroom, lovely and quiet. Toby, different story. Constantly crying. So I always leave the bathroom door open so the cats can come and go, so they know where I am. And I'm calling him, he comes. And he comes in the bathroom, sits there staring at me while I'm in the bath, crying. I'm going, what is your problem? I've gone and done your potty. I've gave you food and water. What is your problem? I thought, I can't even have a bath in peace now. It's like having a little toddler. Mum, what are you doing in the bath? How long you got a bit, Mum? You know what I mean? That's what Toby's like. I can't have a bath in peace. He's a mummy's boy. And if he loses me and he knows I'm in the house, he'll just cry. He'll just cry. But if he knows I'll go out, if he sees me go out, it's fine. But if I'm in the house and he loses sight of me, like I went to have a lie down to have a sleep this afternoon. Didn't get one. Because I'm lying there and I'm watching TV, listening to the TV. And the cats were in here asleep, so I thought, right, I'm going to have a lie on the bed. Knock, 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 knock. Ignore it, Ange. Knock, 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 knock. I thought, ignore it. And it kept going. I knew it was. It's the back door. So I get up. I went, what brings you over here? I need my lawnmower. I said, fucking take it. He said, you're right. I said, I was just trying to get some sleep. I've been up since the crack of dawn. Right? And I went, oh, okay, Mum, sorry. Right? So then my daughter came. So I thought, pointless having a sleep now, I'm hungry. But as soon as I go and have a bath, he can't find me. And then he's like moaning at me because I'm in the fucking bath. Oh, God, my life, cat. Michelle, I had a crush on Zach Baggins for 20 years, but keep it quiet. You take the bag now. Neuro had a crush on Zach Baggins. Anyone listening, whoever Zach Baggins is, for the last 20 years. Take the bag. I'm going to find out who Zach Baggins is. I can hear you talking about Zach Baggins. Oh, a paranormal investigator. Known for hosting ghost adventures, also runs Las Vegas Haunted Museum, showcasing his paranormal investigation and dark historical effects. You've had a crush on him? Okay. Looks alright in that photo. But the other photos. Okay. I see where you're coming from. Zach, right. Caller, Zach Baggins. If anyone knows Zach Baggins who's watching this on replay, maybe, contact him. Yeah, I know, I've just pulled up the information, Neuro. And it isn't a C, it's a K. It's Z-A-K. Oh, dear me. I had a crush on, what was his name? The one in Dirty Dancing. Oh, God, what's his name? He died. And he was in the film Ghost. Oh, fuck, what was his name? I can't think of his name, but I used to have a crush on him. Big time. But then again, I tell you what gets my heart pumping. I don't care if I'm 60, grey haired, and a Zimmer fan. Someone in a uniform, like armed forces or not so much Navy, but armed forces. Right? Armed forces. If I see anyone in armed forces walking past me, so my head is doing a like a 360. Patrick Swayze, but my head's doing a 360 watching these guys walk past me. And I tell you what else really gets me. You know, Peaky Blinders. You know the clothes they wear, the suits they wear. There's this TikTok account, and you get on where they're just walking through shopping malls and whatever in these suits. And I said to my daughter, I said, if ever we're in a shopping arcade anywhere, and someone walks past me with a suit on like that, it's like, see you later, dear. I'm going that way. I'm following them. You know what I mean? Because there's the guys in the suits from Peaky Blinders. Oh, I wish they'd bring that back again. I wish you could see more men walking the streets with outfits like that on. To have my head turning every way. I don't know where to look. Yeah. Yeah, but Patrick Swayze I had a crush on him. But no, anyone in armed forces, they walk past me, it's like, okay, guys, I'm coming. And anyone in the Peaky Blinders with the suits and the breast jackets thing and things like that gets me every time. My friends used to have a crush on the fire brigade. And whenever there was a fire, I remember once it was at mine when I lived in Birmingham, up in Kings Norton, and I was in a flat, and there's a fire in this flat above a shop. And she was, oh my God, there's a, and she come running around, she said, Ange, I went, what? She said, there's a fire in that shop, flat above the shop. I went, I know, I can see it from here. She said, how did you know about it? She said, a friend told me I had to come round because I knew the fire brigade would be here. She'd go to the open days, everything. Honest to God. Oh, God, yeah, give me a man. The Peaky Blinders with the suits and, and the pig caps. Yeah. Yeah, I can, yeah. But anyone in the armed forces, they walk past me, it's like, eye candy. I go weak at the knees if I see anyone in the arm. Honest, I'm terrible. No, no. Maybe 30 years ago, yes, Michelle, but not no more. Give me someone in the armed forces or in a suit, one of those Peaky Blinders. Not any suit, it's got to be like the Peaky Blinders with the pig cap, the double-breasted jackets, the little jacket thing they wear under the main jacket. Yeah. Never seen Peaky Blinders? Oh my God. Peaky Blinders. I love it because Peaky Blinders is set in an era in the 1800s, early 1900s, or something like 1900s, early 1900s, right? Guess where? Set in Birmingham, where I grew up. And there's a pub they used to go to, and it was in the series, Peaky Blinders, this pub. And holy cow, that pub is still up. That pub is still open, I think. You know what I mean? So it's like the era my nan grew up in, early 1900s. So you're not looking for a G.I. Joe. Oh, armed forces. It just does it. But Peaky Blinders, you need to watch Peaky Blinders. The suits they wear, honest to God, it's. Someone said they're bringing that style back in. I said, oh, please, God, please. Rather than these men with the showing the, what I say is a builder's bum. Yeah, with the jeans showing the ass of the crack of the backside. Nah. Give me a man in that Peaky Blinders suit anytime, or a man in a fit man. He's got to be fit, or someone in the armed forces walking down in the greens or whatever. Yeah, that's me every time. Sweaty, dirty country boy. Oh dear me. We can dream. We can dream. Right, so now I've told you all my little hidden secrets. I'm going to let you all go. Yeah, watch it, Peaky Blinders. It's set in early 1900s. So it's around by 1920s. 1920, 1930s. Well before the war. Right? And the war early 1800s and whatever. But it's around about 1910s, 1920s. Peaky Blinders. Fucking brilliant. I watch it and I go, oh, I remember that pub. Oh, I know that road. You know what I mean? Even though it wasn't like it was, the roads were the same names of the roads were there, but it didn't look like that when I grew up. Yeah? But the roads and the pubs, yeah. And someone said to me, I was telling them about it once, about Peaky Blinders. I think someone told me about Peaky Blinders, or you need to watch it. So I started watching it. And because I didn't realise at the time it was set in the era of the early 1900s in Birmingham. And it was only when I went to this pub that I went, that's in Birmingham. So, yeah, I was hooked on that then. Watched it all the way through. But it seemed to get a bit soft near the end, I think. But they was all growing up and getting a bit older in the tooth and all this lot. Oh, you big softies, where are ya? But yeah, Peaky Blinders, you need to watch it. Really, really good. Anyway, now I've disclosed all that about me and my secret dreams. I'm going to leave you all. And I'm going to go to my bed. Well, I'll have my tablet, have another drink, and then go to bed. So thank you all for being here with me today. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one. I don't really have one. Had crushes on singers. Some movie stars. Nah. Yeah, no glasses is a bad sign. He needs his fucking glasses. Why didn't he take his glasses? That's what I say. I think he was and where he lives, right? It's a bit like Nancy Guthrie. Yeah, it's pointless having ring doorbells. Yeah, they probably got ring doorbells on the properties, but they're all well back off the road or hidden. The doorways are hidden from the road and things like that. So it's not going to catch you. So I think he'd come out, got changed, put his hiking boots on, his rucksack. If anyone saw him, they'd think he was going for a hike. Wouldn't think of looking twice at, think, oh, where's he off to? Oh, he's going for a hike. You know what I mean? And I think he'd met up with someone further down the road or wherever and got in a car. But there was no scent of him leaving the house, apparently. No scent of him leaving the house. Doesn't make sense, that, does it? Oh, well. I'm going to leave you up there, letting you think away in your little heads and dream away your little crushes. And I will see you all on the next one. Thank you, Anne. It's been a good night tonight. And I will see you all on the next one, which is what day are we on now? Hold on. I'm on the 5th. But what date? Is that Tuesday? Yeah. I'll see you all on the next one, which is probably tomorrow.
I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate,
Play safe, everyone.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the